Good morning, friends. I just wanted to show you how I do the bone broth. So this was my third batch of bone broth. Um, I had made a chicken roast, not last night, but the night before. Made a chicken roast, so we had chicken leg quarters and vegetables and a little bit of seasoning in it. So I just took the leftover bones. They did have skin on them, so I took the skin from the leg quarters, the veggie scraps, and all the veggies that were still kind of mushed up and left in the crock pot. I took all of those and I cooked them on low for it was about 8 hours. And then I did 2 more batches. Those I did on high because I wanted them to be done a little faster. The second batch I did with all of the same ingredients as the first. The only difference is that I took the bones and cracked them, so there would be a little bit more of the collagen and a little bit more nutrients getting into that particular bone broth. I also added a little bit of turmeric to the second one, and then the third one that I did was all of the same ingredients as the first. The bones were broken down already, and then I added a little of the apple scrap vinegar. So this is what's left of one of the bottles that we did last year. We're currently in the process of making another one. But anyway, I added some of this and then a little bit of red wine because I had read some other benefits of that, and it cooks all out and everything. It just pulls nutrients from those bones and the leftover skin and veggies that are in there. So I wanted to try it and just see if there's any difference, number one, in the flavoring, but see if there's any difference in the way that we feel after we consume it, basically. So I'm going to show you how I do the bone broth, kind of what it looks like in the crock pot after it's all cooked down, and then what we do to filter it out. Okay, so here is, let you see what it looks like. Here is what it looks like in the crock pot itself. See all that goodness? There's just some of those scraps of veggies left, some of the garlic scraps, onion scraps, and all that. And what I want to do, I don't want the scraps in there, so I just put my filter here, my sieve, and basically I just ladle it in to the mason jar like this. I don't know if you can see that or not. And it catches all the scraps up here, which those won't get wasted. Those will then be given to our chickens. And they'll enjoy some of that as well. Okay, I want to kind of show you. So here is some of the pieces of bone kind of broke down, and all of this goodness, we just want it falling apart into that broth. So it is broth, but it also could be considered bone broth specifically because we opened up those bones and let all of those nutrients soak into the broth itself. So it just helps add in extra collagen and all of that. Okay, I wasn't sure how much this was going to make, but we already have a quart, which is awesome. I'm going to show you, or try and attempt to show you the top here, like just that liquid gold. It is beautiful. A lot of times during the winter months, especially, if we're not feeling well or something kind of got in our system and we need to get a detox, we will put this in soups, or we'll put this in a teacup and just warm it up in the microwave for a couple minutes and drink just the broth. Just kind of helps cleanse things out, helps you get more nutrients so that you can fight off whatever you've got going on. Another thing I love about this is that it's so inexpensive. Like, this literally cost me nothing more than just the chicken and vegetables that I already had, and a little bit of water. So in comparison to buying it at the store, which I do that sometimes, just convenience, or if I haven't made chicken in a while, in comparison, it's actually saving you quite a bit of money. It just takes a little bit of extra time and effort. The other thing that I like about this is that I know exactly what's in it. So yeah, I know exactly what is in this. I know that the ingredients were chicken, vegetables, water, whatever spices I added, and I feel more comfortable with that than I do sometimes the store-bought. Most of the time the store-bought. There are some that I know have very little ingredients, or they're all ingredients that I can read and understand. But even then, you're making this in your own home. You know 100% for sure what is going from your crock pot into these jars and then into your body. I can't always say with that certainty that store-bought stuff is what it says it is. So that's another reason I like it. Just to give you kind of a rundown on the cost. So the chicken that I bought, it was a large package. I think it had 10 leg quarters, and it cost, with tax, probably a little over $7, because it was like $6.50 something. So a little over $7 for that. I used 2 leg quarters for this particular meal, and then those were broken down and used in this broth. So it really maybe cost me $2, maybe $3 if you count the veggies that I used and you account for the water. I don't even know. It would probably be cents worth of water that I used. But I have gotten 3 quarts, well, 4 quarts, because 2 pints is a quart. So I've gotten 4 quarts of broth for a few dollars, compared to if I go to the store, it costs, the particular one that I've been getting is an organic, low sodium one. I believe it's $2.90 something right now. That might be on the higher end, but still, it's, that cost is equivalent to 4 that I made at home. So it's basically worth it. Now that I have it ladled into the jars, I'm going to wipe the rims with a clean towel, and then I'm going to put them in the carry and do pressure canning that way. I'm going to do it on high for 20, I have to look it up, 20 or 25 minutes. I think it was 20, but I will look it up. So wipe those off, get the lids on nice and tight, and then we're going to pressure can, and that should seal them, and they should be good for storage. And our pantry is going to be full of chicken broth now, which is awesome. Okay, I looked it up, and it was 20 minutes for pints, 25 for quarts. So we're going to just do a small batch of this, so just these 2. We're going to pressure can in the carry on high for 25 minutes. So I'm just going to kind of show you how to do that. I have my pot here with a canning rack on the bottom. Then I'm going to add in 4 cups of water. This is a 2 cup, so we'll have to do it twice. Okay, so we're adding in 4 cups of water. Then straighten that back out. Put the quarts on here and put them in for 25 minutes. Alright, so I have my 2 jars in the carry. Going to close the lid and then make sure that it is locked. Sorry, the way I have to do this is kind of awkward because my cord's over here. So it says open here, and we're just going to twist the lid until you hear that click and it's locked. So we're going to go, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to press high and set for 25 minutes. Oops. 25 minutes. And I'm going to double check the top, making sure that it's in the exhaust position. And then I'm going to hit the start button. This will go for, I say normally 10 to 15 minutes. It just kind of spins, builds up the pressure. And then once it does that, for pressure canning, it makes another beep, and it will come up with the E10. That will be on your red screen here. It'll come up with E10. Then you flip the top to airtight, and at that point in time, it will start the countdown for the actual pressure canning time, which is the 25 minutes. If you do not get that clicked over or turned over to airtight, then it's not going to pressure can. It's not going to be able to build up enough pressure, and then your jars will not be sealed properly. So you want to make sure that you kind of keep an ear out, or maybe babysit the canner until it stops doing the spinning and does the E10 code. I guess that's the word for it. It would be an E10 code, and that's your cue to turn this from exhaust to airtight. Then it builds up the pressure and will start the countdown. You don't need to hit start another time for pressure canning. It will just automatically start the countdown once you've switched it over to airtight. At this point, they have finished the time of 25 minutes and are ready to be taken out of the carry and cooled. Once cooled, you will hear a ping, and then you can take the rings off and they're ready for storage.